Well, buckle up.
Back in the old time machine.
13th century. Texture, taste.
Very fishy.
Preservatives.
Cornish pasties.
Oh my god, I've never even thought of that. The themes of empire, mission, inheritance, and destiny.
Hello and welcome back to What the Food, the podcast that uncovers the history of the world through food. My name is Miles Dickinson, I'm here with Andy Cantor and Dom Gray, and welcome to Bob Marley and the Ital Diet's cultural journey. Ital.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're going to get into today. We're going to explore where the word comes from, where in the world the word comes from.
Oh my goodness.
The Rastafarian religion itself.
Ooh,
and Mr.
okay.
Bob Marley. Because it's a big occasion this year. It's his birthday on the 6th of Feb, but he will have been, I think, 80, maybe 80. He was born in 1945. Would that make him 80? Yeah, it would make him 80. Yeah.
God rest his soul.
Yeah.
It's his 80th birthday. Episode dedicated to Bob Marley. It's exactly what he would have wanted.
Oh.
Yeah.
Three white guys talking all about him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
Oh dear. Ital, yeah, I thought it was short for Italian. I thought it was something to do with like pomodoro sauce or tiramisu or something.
That's quite
Crazy.
But
not quite.
no, couldn't be further from that.
No, couldn't be further from that. So picture this. A small kitchen in the Jamaican countryside where the air is rich with coconut milk and thyme. On the counter, you've got vibrant vegetables freshly picked from the garden. They're simmering away in a pot, their natural flavours transforming into something extraordinary. The cook, barefoot and humming a tune, probably with a doobie in the mouth.
Barefoot.
Yeah, mate, they're not sticking their feet in the pot, mate. It's fine.
I know, but still, I don't really want my chef to be barefoot. Anyway, all right, I'll look past it. Go on.
Well, as they're stirring the pot, they're blending the ingredients with love, intention and spirituality. We shift to another setting, a vibrant tour bus with Bob Marley and his band. After a soul-stirring performance, they gather around bowls of Ital stew, fragrant rice and peas, and refreshing ginger beer.
They know flavour, don't they?
They know flavour.
Know flavour. It's all got a punch, all packs a punch.
Exactly. It's not just food, it's fuel for creativity, nourishment for the body, and sustenance for the soul. Welcome to the Ital Diet.
Those words that you use to describe the Ital food is how I describe all of my food anyway. So what really makes it different, Andy?
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, fair enough.
Just proper picking it apart straight away. Yeah, well, sounds good, that, Andy, but what do you mean?
What do you mean? What the fuck are you trying to say?
Is my food not nourishing? Spiritual?
Where'd you buy it?
KFC.
Every meal. Every single meal. You do your weekly shop at KFC counter. You do it on the touchscreen.
Yeah. Can you not cook it? I'll cook mine. Can you not make the potatoes into chips? Just give me the raw potatoes. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A box of corn, please. Yeah, just on the cob. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a box.
Pepsi Max syrup, no soda. But it sounds like there's an emphasis on spirituality and food here. Bit of a crossroads of these two elements, which kind of is quite intriguing.
100%. And that's exactly what we're going to be exploring today. We're going to be exploring the vibrant tradition born from the Rastafarian movement of the 1930s and the fact that it reflects a deep connection to nature, a rejection of colonial influence, and a commitment to purity in body and mind.
Sounds like good things.
Does. Yeah.
So I think to understand the Ital Diet, you first have to explore its roots in rejecting Babylon.
Babylon.
You know,
What, Babylon getting on me case?
Babylon, get on my case.
Big city life.
Big city life. And I'm
Trying
gonna
to
get
eat
right.
all. Something like that.
Yeah, it's all good. We're connecting dots here though, because they mention Babylon in that song, don't they? And that's kind of
They do.
a reggae influenced track. And
Yeah, until that guy comes on. Yeah.
What a mad track we were all bopping to in year six.
Yeah, school
Crazy,
disco tune for days.
But the teachers were like, what the fuck is this?
Exactly.
But I'm super intrigued about Rastafarianism because you see it in pop culture, it's ever prevalent, but I don't think a lot of people really understand it. I think a lot of people just assume it's a black guy with dreadlocks, smoking weed and being at one with nature and kind of peace and love. There's kind of a lot of stereotypes that are kind of threaded through this, isn't there?
Definitely.
And I'm kind of looking forward to taking apart those stereotypes and actually, understanding what's under the surface of it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we're going to do. So Babylon itself. So Babylon is quite key in the Rastafarian belief. Babylon is essentially it symbolizes the oppressive systems of colonialism, Western materialism, and industrial corruption. So Babylon's bad. They want to reject Babylon.
Is
Babylon
this a metaphorical place?
That's why it's getting on the case. You see?
Yeah.
Babylon gets on my case. Ah, okay, right.
Yeah. It's
Colonials.
the forces of the Western people that have stripped African descended peoples of their culture, spirituality, and their autonomy. That's exactly what Babylon is.
Wow.
Wow, okay. So there is a kind of deep-rooted rejection there. It's not just peace and love. It's kind of, well, it is peace and love, but it's also, rejecting Western values at the same time, in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure. We've got a really good quote from Mr. Bob Marley himself talking about Babylon, and this is how he put it.
Babylon is everywhere. You have wrong and you have right. Wrong is what we call Babylon, wrong things. That is what Babylon is to me. I could have been born in England. I could have been born in America. It makes no difference where me born, because there is Babylon everywhere. Why have you done me dirty with a little me
I was
in there?
I was expecting.
Yeah, why have you done him dirty with an English accent and then gone, I could have been born in England? Well, it sure fucking sounds like you were, mate. Go back, do it again.
I'm trying to be respectful, so this is...
I'd say that you're being disrespectful by erasing his culture by not using the proper voice.
Well, maybe. But the thing is, when I got to that part in it, I kind of sounded it for a second. It make no difference where me born. I'm either a Yorkshireman or a Bob Marley.
Bob Marley. One of the two.
Yeah, but it's interesting what he's saying there, though. Like, he's kind of talking about the fact it is metaphorical, it's everywhere, it's not a real thing, but it's like an essence, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. For sure. So by the 1930s, kind of before Rastafarianism started to be a thing, Jamaica was still grappling with the aftermath of British colonial rule. You've got economic inequality, racial discrimination, cultural erasure. That's essentially defining daily life of the people on Jamaica. Imported goods and industrialized food systems were becoming kind of tools of control, replacing local traditions with cheap, convenient foods, devoid of kind of any vitality and connection to the earth. So it's essentially Britain is like flooding the island with loads of cheap food to feed, because obviously the people can't afford anything because they're being paid absolutely fuck all. And the Rastafarian movement kind of emerged as a defiant response to that.
Yeah, which is kind of understandable when you play it like that,
Yeah, sure.
You kind of would be. Is there kind of like natural spiritualness, a byproduct of the fact that they've been smoking a lot of weed in Jamaica for a long time? And they're kind of just that much more in touch with nature? No,
not really. So the big reason why Rastafarians smoke weed is because it allows you to like not self-regulate, but like think more about you and your life. It allows you to like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Reflect.
Reflect. Kind of reflect. Yeah. Slow down a little bit. Think about what is going on, what decision you should make.
Right. Okay.
And it brings you closer to nature. In that
right. So kind of steps you out of the rat race and the kind of tunnel vision way of thinking that's a lot of what Western life is, and kind of turns yourself inwards. Yeah.
It wasn't like weed caused Rastafarianism. It's kind of like
a byproduct.
They've kind of adopted it to bring, because their whole thought pattern is all about being closer to nature and being more spiritual and connections with the earth, and the fact that weed grows up the fucking ground makes them closer to the earth.
The fogging ground.
David Mitchell sketch in my head. Yeah, the
fucking ground. It's a much healthier relationship with weed and cannabis than we have over here, isn't it? It's not your we got a 10 bag then, mate. 10 bag. Want to get fucking licked tonight, boy, or what?
Have we got a 10 bag?
Yeah. They're not waiting outside of Home Bargains for the dealer for a 10 bag. No. Not doing that.
Okay. All right. So we're beginning to paint a picture of these lovely people.
Just gorgeous and lovely people.
Sounds great.
Not bad so far.
And, responding to that British kind of influence, which is, a negative thing for them, really, at this point.
Yeah. No, for sure. So, the Rastafarian movement, like you just said, emerged as a bit of a defiant response. It was also heavily inspired by a fellow called Marcus Garvey. We'll talk more about him in a second, but Marcus Garvey essentially called for black empowerment and a return to kind of African roots. Rastafarians reclaim their kind of connection to the land and essentially embrace natural living as an act of resistance. That's kind of what they're going for. So in terms of like a bit of a quick overview, the religion itself, it's actually an Abrahamic religion like Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. So it's, along those lines. It takes a lot of influence from Christian teachings, but it does have a lot of features in common with Judaism as well.
Nice.
A few interesting words that you should learn. Jah is the Rastafari word for God.
Jah.
Jah is short for Jehovah, which is the Hebrew name for God. Jah.
So if I say, have you got a jam jar? They're going to think I'm asking, have they got a jam god? Which would be mad.
Yeah.
Which, quite frankly, would be preposterous. A god of jam.
Floats down with his sloppy domes.
I'm sticky, I'm sweet, I'm your god.
No, that was a low-hanging fruit.
That was low-hanging fruit, yeah.
White boy humour. Get a handle on it, Mouse.
Get a handle on it. So, Jah is God. Rastology is a Rastafari interpretation of the Bible. Rastology.
It's a cool word.
It's a full word. See, Miles had another little white boy joke lined up.
I did. It was in there, but it's all right. Don't worry.
All right. Okay. Yep. Not for air.
Yeah. Keep that one for bedtime.
No. I'm not saying it because it's so bad it's not able to be said out loud. It's just not worth it. It's that rubbish.
Zion is used to refer to the Promised Land, which in the Rastafarian belief is Africa. Africa is the Promised Land, so Zion. And Babylon, as we said, is essentially the opposite of Zion. It's the oppressive Western lands.
Right, okay.
A few other little bits of beliefs. Most Rastafari don't eat pork, as it's forbidden within Leviticus. And they also don't cut their hair, as it says in Leviticus that thou must not take a knife to the skin. That's why they have dreadlocks.
Wow. Right, okay. So it's not just a stylistic choice. It's kind of built into the religion.
Belief system. Yep.
Wow. So if you're following it to a T, you literally don't ever cut your hair.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they have a big, have
it just keeps
reeled up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're like 80, is it just there's just so much hair there, isn't there? I mean, I know it all kind of gets tied together and it's quite compact, isn't it? That's what dreadlocks are. There's kind of like a very tightly knit way of kind of having your hair, but it's going to be massive if you're an old person.
I think it actually breaks off as well. Yeah. Once it gets to a certain...
Oh, does it? It kind of dies and...
Almost kind of like, I don't know if it rots, but it kind of just breaks away. It becomes so dry.
Right, okay. It's interesting.
Yeah. There you go. So back to Marcus Garvey. He was a black political leader. He led an organization known as the Universal Negro Improvement Association, whose intention was to unify blacks with their land of origin. Garvey himself preached that...
Look to Africa where a black king shall be crowned. He shall be your redeemer.
This is a super important statement. This statement essentially becomes the foundation of the Rastafarian movement.
Okay, look to Africa where a black king shall be crowned. He shall be your redeemer. Well, because Jamaica's closer to America, isn't it? It's actually not that near Africa.
It's in the Caribbean.
Yeah, so it's
Caribbean.
It's quite far away, really, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It is, but think about where all the people came from.
Well, yeah, they just kind of shifted over that way at some point.
Well, the slave trade.
Yeah, I was going to say they
shifted
were
over there by.
shifted.
They didn't just shift over there like, oh lads, fancy a bit of the Caribbean sun.
I made that sound like a holiday, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
A little bit.
Okay, so they're talking here then about going back to Africa or crowning a king back in Africa, and they're kind of always looking back to Africa as their homeland, aren't they?
Exactly.
They feel very connected to that place.
Which it rightly is, you know. But yeah, that prophecy, look to Africa, where a black king shall be crowned, he shall be your redeemer, was super important. Like I said, became the foundation for the Rastafarian movement. Purely because after this prophecy was said, Emperor Haile Selassie I in Ethiopia was crowned. So Ethiopia, before the Second World War, had been attacked by the Italians. Italians had taken it over, essentially because the Italians had tanks and guns. The Ethiopians had spears and shields. So they just got absolutely fucked. But the British came in during the kind of North Africa campaigns, sided with the Ethiopians to push the Italians back out of Ethiopia. After the victory, crowned Emperor Haile Selassie I was crowned. Rastafarians see this as the fulfillment of Garvey's prophecy. A a black king has been crowned.
Yeah. And he was a pretty good guy, to be fair. Could see why they'd look up to him.
The religion itself takes the name from Haile Selassie's original name, which is Tafari Makonnen. Tafari.
Yeah. But the British put him in place once they kicked out the Italians. Is that what we're saying?
Mm-hmm. Well, so he was already quite a prominent figure within Ethiopia, and then the Italians came. I don't know if he was actually kicked out and got refuge in England, or he was just kind of, they were just kind of put under, not arrest, but like they were governed as like a puppet state by the Italians.
Right.
And then the British came in and kind of regained control, helped the Ethiopians regain control. So yeah, he is regarded as by Rastafarians as like the Black Messiah, literally the Rastafari. He's the figure of salvation and is believed that he will redeem blacks from white suppressors, reuniting them with their homeland, Africa.
Amen.
Amen. So Mr. Garvey has some incredible quotes, just a bit of an aside, but he's got some pretty cool quotes that are accredited to him. And this one seems to embody a shared tenet of Garvey and the Rastafarian faith.
Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Wow.
I feel like that quote has been copied time and time again by like loads of self-help books and like self-help podcasts and things like that.
Yeah. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. The power's within you, is what he's saying.
It's within you.
Free your mind.
Yep, exactly. So back to Jamaica now. So the first branch of Rastafari is believed to have been established in Jamaica in 1935 by a fellow called Leonard P. Howell.
Leonard?
Big line.
Yeah, LPH. Leonard preached the divinity of Haile Selassie. He explained that all blacks would gain superiority over whites that had always been intended for them. Weirdly, he was also affectionately known as Gong.
Gong, love that.
Gong, yeah. He wasn't of Indian descent or kind of Asian descent, but was fascinated by Hindu practices and the diets of Indian indentured servants living in Jamaica. So everyone just called him Gong. It's like us calling you Scratching.
Yeah, that'd work.
You don't need to do that, do you? Why do you do that? Why have you done that now?
Well, because it's your favourite thing, isn't it? You like the ones with the little hairs in, don't you? That's your favourite thing.
Scratching. Gives a smile, Scratching.
I mean, it's better that he started calling you Scratching rather than like Porky or something. Like,
Yeah, okay. Thank you for not calling me Porky. Is that what you want?
Yeah.
You want me to say thanks?
Yeah.
This is sounding interesting, though. It sounds like, it sounds a bit racist from him because he's now saying blacks should be superior over whites. I don't know, like, should we not just want everyone? Is that weird? Is that a left field statement?
No, you're right. But if you think about it, the oppression that these people have been under is like, we can't even imagine what these people and their ancestors have gone through, right? They've been forcibly removed from their country, taken to a different fucking continent on the other side of the world, made to work in horrendous conditions in the baking hot sun with probably no breaks whatsoever, limited food, just a shit time. I can't even imagine a shit time. So, and now obviously there's Jamaica's gained its independence. I'm not sure by this stage, but the talks of independence, if they haven't already happened, are on the horizon. People are gaining more kind of freedom and starting to think about things. They're going to have these thoughts, right? This is going to be it's just natural.
Yeah, it's like one of those, you can't really blame them for hating white people at that point.
No.
It's kind of fair enough in a way.
Yeah. Well, because like all their own experience of white people has been nothing but shit. That stuff that you basically listed. So it's like, that's all they know from white people.
But Leonard Howell himself was also instrumental in promoting a plant-based diet in the Rastafarian community.
Fucking vegan.
Fucking vegan.
No. I mean, they are vegans. Some of them are vegans, but not all of them, Dom. No, the Ital Diet was an act of defiance. By choosing local, organic and unprocessed foods, Rastafarians rejected the industrialized food systems imposed by colonial powers. It was a declaration of 1, we don't need Babylon's food to survive. 2, we are self-sufficient and in harmony with the earth. And 3, we refuse to consume what they produce to control us.
Sounds like the About Us page from a bloody London salad bar.
That's crazy.
That's good though. It's good. You could see it, couldn't you? You could see. Change like the word Babylon maybe to like, I don't know, big meat or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Big meat.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds interesting. Clean eating, organic, locally sourced ingredients.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this rejection also went beyond kind of the physical sustenance as well. It extended to an entire lifestyle grounded in the concept of livity, living in balance with nature, maintaining the body's purity and nurturing a spiritual connection to Jah. What does Jah mean?
Jah, man.
God.
Nice. So some of the key elements again of the Ital resistance. So again, local agriculture, growing their own food, emphasize self-reliance, organic practices, and a break from these imported goods. Rejection of meat. So imported meats, especially pork, were tied to kind of colonial diets. So they heavily embraced a plant-based diet, but also fish as well for health and kind of spiritual purity. Processed salt, they avoided.
Really?
They avoided completely. To them, it symbolizes industrialization, and they replace salt with kind of more natural herbs and spices.
Sounds like the food will be bland as fuck.
You say that, but...
I'm just being silly.
It sounds like what a lot of people are striving for nowadays. We're kind of coming full circle, aren't we?
Exactly.
A lot of people are wanting this kind of food. They want to be in touch with nature and source things locally. Farm shops, they're popping off in the UK. Why? Because everyone wants that fucking local pork, man. They were ahead of the curve.
Everyone wants to taste that dirt.
That's it. Carrots. The dirtier, the better.
What the hell?
It's like Millie Bobby Brown meme, isn't it?
Yeah. Her face goes so weird in that.
Yeah, she becomes Gromit, doesn't she?
Yeah, she really does.
The dirtier, the better. Yeah.
God.
Yeah, so predominantly plant-based, fresh fruits, vegetables, legumes, whole grains, very much kind of celebrated for their natural energy and life-giving properties. Very minimal processing. So these are the guiding principles of the Ital diet. So plant-based foundation, minimal processing. Foods are very much consumed in their natural state, free from artificial additives, heavy processing. Cooking methods like steaming and boiling are used quite heavily to kind of preserve the nutrients and the vitality. Most Rastafarians avoid meat entirely, though some do include fish, excluding shellfish though, because they are considered unclean by the Old Testament.
Really? Because they're kind of like filter feeders, aren't they?
Exactly. Yeah. Same with pigs as well, right?
Yeah. Just eat anything and what you get is what you get. I mean, what you're listing here, none of this is crazy stuff. It's not like you're listing off the food of the Catholic Church, which probably would make an interesting episode one day. Talking about drinking the blood of Christ and those little papery things for the body of Christ. Like, if you were listing off the food of Catholicism, it would be much more weird. What you're saying here, nothing that you're saying here is weird at all. This is all stuff that really the whole world should eat this way. And I'm not saying like completely deny, innovation in food and, commercial food, but that should be like an afterthought. If you want to dip into that world and get something that you could only get from Korea to make a dish, that's fine. But your default way of cooking and getting food should be this local way of doing it. Sure.
100%. Yeah. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It does all seem fairly above board, really.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing that wild. Or in fact, it sounds like everything's a little bit wild and not processed. See what I did there? Yeah. Thank you very much, chap.
You flipped it there.
Yeah.
You just flipped it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very heavy reliance on natural flavoring. So like I said, processed salt is a no-go, and it's replaced with natural seasonings like thyme, basil, garlic, and ginger. So they essentially combat the fact that they don't use salt by adding in more herbs and garlic, ginger, those sorts of things.
Yeah. Okay.
Which again, basil, garlic, and ginger, all those kind of herbs enhance flavor, but they also carry medicinal and spiritual significance as well. They they avoid pollutants completely. So alcohol, caffeine, and tobacco, none of those, because they have a disruptive effect on the body and mind's purity.
So that when they're rolling up, they're just going straight
bud.
Straight ganja, brother.
Yeah.
Brother.
Straight fucking ammo, mate.
Wow. They're not doing the little half and halves that we used to do back in the day.
Nah. No fucking baby blasters, lad. Just straight up.
Excuse you, lads. This is all on record. The police, I don't think it's gone past.
All right.
Come on, we've all been young, wild and free, haven't we? Come on, for God's sake.
Yeah, this is it.
Living young and wild and free. So are we smoking? So
Just having fun.
They are. Enjoy that one. Do you know the amount of emails I've got that have been like, can you give us a cappella Wiz Khalifa whenever you get a chance, please? There's been like more than one at least.
And finally, the Ital diet extends beyond food to form a relationship with the land, like I said. And growing one's own food or sourcing locally ensures freshness, sustainability, and self-reliance.
So we saying Rastafarians are chiseled then? They just all like gods walking around.
Wow.
Chiseled.
Because largely, I think you'll struggle to find a chubby Rastafari. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you'll just struggle to find one anywhere. I was going to just say in Jamaica, but I don't think that really matters. Anywhere in the world, fucking Hong Kong.
I mean, they'll be fat people in Jamaica. They just won't be Rastafari.
Well, proper Rastafari. There might be you get
Wanna
part-time
Rastafari.
Christians. Yeah, it might be.
Yeah, this is it.
You get some of those, yeah.
Yeah, but you can see from a mile off because they haven't got the six-pack. Fake boy. Fake fat boy.
Fake fat boy.
Yeah. Bet that's got tobacco in it as well, hasn't it, you little fake fat boy? You little pussy. Silly,
Wow.
very silly.
Yeah, very.
Why are you going around Jamaica hating on people anyway?
Why are you going on holiday ready to fucking scrap? Joe, just 1 second. Just wait here. I need to go call this fake ass fuck out.
No, I'm just thinking, stolen valor and that. I don't want anyone doing that.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
It's very
I
noble.
mean, it's probably the same as someone putting on like a military uniform, isn't it?
This is it.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But yeah, I think one thing to say is that since kind of the Ital diet generally avoids kind of added fats and salts, Rastas are often really skilled at creating kind of complex flavor profiles from herbs and spices, again, like ginger, garlic, basil, but like lemongrass, allspice, nutmeg. It's common for individuals to kind of make like a blend of their own herbs and spices to create a specific flavor profile to suit their taste.
I was just way off base saying that all their food would be bland then. Yeah, completely fucked it there, didn't I?
Yeah, because they can't just rely on salt to elevate a dish, right? They have to look at combinations of herbs and spices to create that flavor. That salt, Westerner would just sprinkle a couple of teaspoons of salt.
Damn.
Yeah, or I imagine they probably use ingredients that are naturally salty as well to combat that. Maybe like smoke some fish and bring out the natural saltiness of the ingredient rather than adding artificial manufactured salt. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. But some obviously don't eat fish at all.
Yeah.
But no, you are right. Those that do. So yeah, I mean, let's go through a bit of a typical day in the life in terms of a menu. Right.
I was just laughing in my head thinking about the ones that do eat fish could be called pescafari, like pescatarian.
I'm a pescafari. Back off.
So, morning. Cockerels are going. You're up. You're out of bed.
Wagwan.
Oh, God. That was just so natural, wasn't it? They'd obviously sound like that to you, Miles, wouldn't they?
Definitely. I'm in Jamaica right now.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, dear. Wow.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
This is going to take some editing, this one.
Nah, it's all right.
Nah, that definitely stays in.
Definitely. So breakfast, what are you having for breakfast? So if you're a Rastafarian and you're living on the Ital diet, you are having freshly squeezed fruit juice paired with a bowl of porridge made from plantains, yams, or sweet potato. So you're starting your day.
A lot of sugar that. You're getting a right spike of glucose there, mate. You're going to crash at 10:30.
Well, that's fine.
Don't come crawling to me when you're pissed off at work.
Yeah. Can't just have a fucking boost bar, can you, to spur you up?
Certainly not.
Plantain, orange juice, fresh fruit. Christ. That's crazy. Well, anyway, just some chopped chips with that.
No, not chopped chips. For lunch, you're having an Ital stew brimming with pumpkin, carrots, okra, coconut milk, served alongside rice and peas.
Nice. That does sound good.
No joke? No, like, you're going to be full for the afternoon. How are you going to get any work done?
No, that one's good. I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's your dinner. Lunch, sorry. For dinner, you're having grilled fish, if you're into that. Or you're having lentil patties paired with sautéed calou and plantains. Calou is a kind of like green, it's kind of like collard greens in a way. Like,
okay. Some spring green type thing.
Yeah, spring green type thing. So that's your dinner. Nothing fried. Nice. Nothing brimming with artificial flavours or anything like that. Super
saturated
simple.
fats or anything. Yeah.
Yeah. If you want a snack throughout the day, you probably have like a bit of roasted breadfruit, maybe a tamarind ball.
Tamarind ball. I feel like we're at a fucking little wellness retreat somewhere.
Well, this is the thing. All these wellness retreats have taken their fucking menus from these people.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. You've had what you had is like in the 60s, 70s and 80s, you had like wealthy, rich white people going to Jamaica, living out in the mountains with Rastafarians and just taking all this information
and everything
and going back to the US and opening up vegetarian restaurants, health, well-being centers, whatever.
Yeah.
And just peddling it as like, oh, that's cool, man. You know, you just gotta live, man. You know, you gotta live up there. That'll be $60,000, please.
Yeah, this is it. And hiking it up, which is like the complete opposite of what Rastafarianism is. Like the commercializing it, which is the worst thing you could do with that, really.
That's Babylon's influence, that.
That's Babylon right there. I'm going to start using that. Shut up, mate. You're Babylon.
In the office, everyone's like, what, Miles?
The boss is like, Miles, can you do this thing for me? That is so Babylon, Linda.
So tamarind balls, and if you get a little bit thirsty, you can have a glass of ginger beer. You boys like ginger beer?
I bloody love
ginger
it.
beer.
Like ginger beer. Nice, isn't it?
It's great. Yeah.
Bit
spicy, bit sweet.
I was going to say spicier the better for me.
Ooh.
What is the brand? It's Jamaica something, isn't it? The kind of orange, the brown can. It's the most popular one. It's Jamaica something.
Yeah.
It's got Jamaica in the title, but it's good shit. They do an extra fiery one, by the way, Andy. That's right up your street.
Yeah, I've had it. Yeah, I had a 2 litre one once. Couldn't sit for a week.
It's the ginger beer brand is Old Jamaica.
Old Jamaica. There we are.
Almost guarantee it's made in like Birmingham or something like that.
I think they advertise on the can that it's made with imported ginger from Jamaica.
Oh, okay, right.
So I think that's their way of getting around that.
Way around it, yeah. But if you don't fancy ginger beer or you don't like it, you can have a glass of Irish moss.
What?
It is it's exactly what you think it is. A bit of moss from the sea that you can mix with water and drink. Some people like it.
Wow.
Like a raw green smoothie kind of thing.
No, it's actually beige in colour.
That's not the colour I would want.
No, it's usually boiled in milk with sugar or honey as well. So you've got a milky drink made from moss.
Right.
Sounds delightful.
Yeah, I think it's very popular with bodybuilders, weightlifters actually. Quite high in protein, low in calories. I think high in calories, rich in protein.
Yeah. Okay, right.
So yeah, sea moss. So yeah, that's kind of a bit of a typical menu. Each meal, like I said, is prepared with kind of intention, celebrating those natural flavours and the energy of the ingredients. To understand the global reach of the Ital Diet, we must highlight one of its most iconic ambassadors. It's Bob Marley.
Of course.
It's Mr. Bob Marley. So through his music, his lifestyle, and his unwavering devotion to Rastafarian principles, Marley brought the Ital way of life to the world stage. So for Marley, food was much more than just sustenance. It was liberty, It was a sacred practice that honoured his connection to Jah and the natural world. He believed that his body was a temple that needed pure, natural sustenance to remain in harmony with the earth. Quote from him, outlining all this, is...
Your body is a temple. A clean temple make you closer to Jah. Clean food, clean thoughts, clean living. That is liberty. Is that right? Liberty?
Liberty, yeah. Liberty derives from the word vitality.
Ah, okay.
Or vital, sorry. Vital. Derives from vital. It's all about that clean living. So Marley saw food as both physical energy and spiritual strength. He cherished communal meals with his bandmates and crew, which became moments of unity and reflection. Conversations over the Ital dishes often revolved around faith, music, and resistance.
Resistance? Whoa.
Resistance to Babylon.
Faith, music, resistance. Yeah. Like 2 really nice ones. Then, whoa, what are you plotting with that one?
Yeah,
what are you plotting?
It's like ginger beer, isn't it?
Let's get him going.
His diet also inspired his art. So many of Marley's songs, like Natural Mystic and 3 Little Birds, echoed Rastafarian themes of natural living and spiritual awakening. I've been listening to a lot of Bob Marley while I was writing this episode. It's great. Fucking great. Very easy.
I was thinking about watching the movie. They did like a little biopic recently, didn't they, of his life?
Yeah.
And I've not seen it yet, but I think I'm going to after this.
Do you know who plays it?
I can't remember the name of the guy. He's a British actor. I remember seeing like a press
Babylon
before. No, Babylon. I remember there was a press junket just before the film came out, and he was talking about how rigorous it was, like how, because basically the family that own the rights to everything, Bob Marley wanted to like obviously do justice to him by choosing the right person to play him in the film. And they spent like years trying to find the right actor, and it's just him, the actor, talking about the kind of pressure he felt and how like he first had to meet all the family, and he spent like months and months living with the family, and that they really wanted that deep connection with the actor to make sure that his intentions were right. And, you know, learning all about this kind of spirituality and how like serious they took everything, it makes sense that they wanted that deep connection with, you know, the guy who was going to play Bob as well. Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Bob, I think he has 11 kids. It's a lot of people to meet.
Ooh, hello. Okay.
Yeah.
All with the same woman?
It's a good question. I think so. Yeah. I think they're all with...
Or is it Babylon?
No, Janet Hunt, I think. No, I think it is with different women, actually.
Different women, yeah.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
He had to have one vice, didn't he?
Well, I mean, it's not a vice, is it? You know?
Guess not.
It's just natural. Marley's meals are super simple, but very intentional, just like everything with this Ital diet. His favourite dishes often came straight from his own garden or were sourced locally in Jamaica. Again, embodying the Ital principles of purity, connection to nature, and self-reliance. Again, another quote that we've got from Mr. Marley himself that really kind of encapsulate this is...
Grow your food. That is freedom. That is survival. Grow your food.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. One of my goals for this year is to grow more of my food.
Yeah.
So I bought a big plot of land.
Have you?
In Wolverhampton.
Just off the M1.
Start back at the minute, but I'll get there.
Starting with parsnips. Grow your food. That is freedom. That is survival. I mean, it is. If you can sustain yourself, grow your own food, you don't need to rely on, you know, the powers that be.
Self-reliant. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Marley's days often began with, kind of similar to the menu that we ran through just before actually, but fresh fruit juices from fruits like soursop, mango, or guava, and again paired with kind of porridges made from green bananas or plantains. Probably had a bit of crash, like you said, around 10 a.m, 10 p.m. So he jumped on his stew with ingredients like yams, pumpkins, okra, and coconut milk. One thing that I did manage to find that he enjoyed that I couldn't really find anywhere else is a rundown. You guys know what a rundown is?
No.
Sounds like the only rundown he's having is poo down his leg with all this sloppy food.
No, it wasn't quite that. It was a traditional Jamaican dish, which is made with fish and a coconut-based sauce. Couldn't really find why it was called a rundown.
Fish and a coconut-based sauce. Sounds like almost like a Thai fish curry.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like a wet fish curry, which you'd be all up with, Miles. You'd absolutely love that.
Yeah. Anything wet, give it to me. All jokes aside, it does sound like a lot of things for your stomach to deal with here. There's a lot of kind of raw ingredients, but then processed food's not good for your stomach either. So it's...
Yeah, he's not scranning a whole pack of Oreos and kettle chips and sour Skittles, is he?
No.
And a pack of Sainsbury's cookies and whatever else Dominic has on a night. You know, he's...
Why'd you have to do me like that?
You're just not living the Ital diet, mate.
By the sounds of it, it sounds like something that I'd actually enjoy, so I might do it.
Jar, man. Jar.
Yeah, but the thing is, I have some Brussels sprouts at Christmas and I'm trumping for ages. My stomach's kind of dealing with that.
Yeah.
He's having, broad beans. He's having porridge. He's having fruit juices, grains, Irish moss, all this stuff.
Yeah, but that happens to you because you eat veg once a year on Christmas Day. He eats it all the time.
So his body's used to it. This is the thing. If I had it all the time, I'd be all right then.
Yeah, but you are right. Like, there is a lot of fibre.
Well, if you're used to it, aren't you? If that's all you've ever eaten, then your body knows how to deal with that.
Yeah.
And also, you're coming from an ancestry of people who have eaten like that as well. So you've you've got the genetics to be able to deal with it too.
Yeah. Michael Mickey Dan White, who was Marley's official tour chef from 1973 to 1976, gave an interview in 2015 outlining what Bob's eating habits were. This is what he had to say.
Bob was not a vegan. He liked fish, vegetables, grains, fruit juices, nut shakes, Irish moss, blends, and various porridges. The type of food that helped him keep properly conditioned. I never saw him eat ice cream or commercial pastry. I know he liked Jamaican-style puddings, a special food we introduced that he liked, and the band liked was broad bean Ital with coconut milk, rundown with vegetables, especially Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts.
Brussels
There you are.
sprouts. Yeah, man.
He's having them. Wow.
So, I mean, you could be like Bob Marley if you went on the sprout diet.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of other things I'd probably need to change to be like Bob Marley. But definitely that as a start. But he was not a vegan. He ate fish and vegetables and all sorts of other things. It doesn't sound like he eats meat there, though.
No.
Sounds like he's a pescatarian.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Just quickly, though, I bet that was a sick 3 years of this guy's life, being a chef, official tour chef of Bob Marley and the Wailers, just traveling around here, there, and everywhere.
Imagine it was pretty much vibes, yeah.
Yeah, and like your biggest stress is cooking a big pot of stew.
Yeah,
effectively.
that's it. Good music, good food, good people, and some good weed, I imagine.
Yeah, everyone's going to be in a good mood as well.
Yeah.
Marley's love for the Ital living extended to his family too. So his daughter, Sedila Marley, frequently talks about their shared commitment to the Ital principles. This is from an interview from her.
Dad always said food was a gift. He wanted us to understand the power of what we put into our bodies. Yeah, good lesson to
You are what you eat.
instill in your daughter. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's the same.
Absolutely. So what's fascinating about the Ital diet is how its principles, that are obviously rooted in spiritual and cultural resistance, have kind of seamlessly entered today's global conversations about conscious eating. A lot of people know the principles of Ital, and a lot of people live by these principles, but they don't know that they share them with the Ital diet. That makes sense? So at its core, Ital wasn't just a rejection of colonialism. It was a declaration of independence. Choosing local, organic foods over imported, industrialized ones wasn't merely practical. It was a way of saying we can thrive without Babylon. And this defiant kind of simplicity resonates today with those seeking to reduce their environmental impact. This is happening all over the world. People are going and living on self-sustaining farms. They're growing more foods than ever. I know more and more people that are keeping chickens to reduce the impact on like cage hens and things like that. It's happening more and more and more.
Definitely. Do you think the people of Jamaica are kind of looking at the rest of the world really frustratedly at the moment, thinking, we fucking said so. We've been doing this for ages. We've been trying to tell you guys.
I thought that as well when I was doing this, but I actually watched a Vice documentary from, I think, February last year, where this lady goes to Jamaica and is having that conversation to someone there. And they're like, no, we're just happy that people are experiencing and living the way that we live. We know it's clean, we know it's healthy, and we're glad that more people are doing it.
Yeah, I think it's not really in like the Rastafarian nature, is it, to be like, you know, I told you so, oh, you big idiots. It's more like, well done, guys, you finally found it. You're shaking off Babylon too. Let's be de-Babyloned together, you know?
Exactly.
Returning home to the way of doing it at the beginning.
For sure. So avoiding processed foods doesn't just benefit the body, it also combats the waste and pollution of industrial food systems. You know, Rastafarians have practiced farm-to-table living for decades, long before it became trendy. Right. And thanks to reggae legends like Bob Marley, the Ital cuisine has spread far beyond Jamaica. You've got restaurants in London serving Ital stews brimming with coconut milk and pumpkin. In New York, you've got chefs reinventing Ital classics by blending them with kind of other more modern plant-based traditions coming in. And on social media, you've got Ital recipes thriving under hashtags like Ital living and conscious cooking. So it's still very much a thing. And you've got people that aren't part of the religion as well, kind of incorporating it into their day-to-day life. What sets Ital apart, though, from other kind of plant-based diets is its authenticity. Unlike many trends driven by branding, Ital remains grounded in its original purpose, aligning what we eat with how we live. It reminds us that food just isn't sustenance, it's a means to resist, connect, and heal. As Jarman Mackenzie, who is co-owner of Veggie's Natural Juice Bar in Brooklyn, says, what a name, Jarman Mackenzie.
Is that basically like God Man?
Basically.
Man. Wow, cool.
And he owns a juice bar in Brooklyn with the name Veggie's Natural Juice Bar. Like, come on, have a little bit of that.
Yeah, you could have slapped a bit of Jamaican something in there.
He's got SEO in mind, doesn't he, really, with that one? You just got to be basic with that.
Yes.
The healthy eating and vegan lifestyle that still is my father. What is called vegan eating, we call Ital since the 60s. Now we see vegan becoming popular, when Ital always was part of our culture for years.
see him, who's a bit more Western, is actually thinking along those lines that you said before, Miles, about like, no, we had it before. It's just that, yeah.
That kind of like little bitchy way of thinking about it. But what you were saying just before that quote is interesting because like in the West, there's just such a disconnect between the food we eat and the way we see ourselves and our values. You get people that are like really anti like animal cruelty. Well, I'm fully guilty of this. Like I'm against animal cruelty, but I'll eat meat. There's a hypocrisy built into the way that we kind of live our lives over here. I feel like over there, there's not that disconnect between the two things. The way they eat matches perfectly with their values. And yeah, it's a good way of living. I don't know what the solution is. I don't know. I guess the solution would be to live like that. But meat's good, isn't it?
Yeah. Meat. Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day,
all right.
Do you like a double whopper?
No, but I think there's 100% lessons that we can learn from this and bring into life, in the West. Mm-hmm. It's finding a way to get there from the point that we're at now. That's the tricky bit.
For sure. I think, today, like the Ital Diet, it feels kind of more relevant than ever. We're grappling with climate change, health crisis, obesity crisis, diabetes crisis.
It's at the breaking point of that bad Babylon way of eating.
Exactly.
We're at the worst bit of it.
Yeah. And
it's time to come back.
And the Ital offers kind of like a timeless guide, eat intentionally, live sustainably, and honor the earth that we're living on. You can cook simple ingredients cook simple recipes from local ingredients, maybe even just grow your own herbs rather than buy packaged herbs. Start small. Exactly. Just connects you to small steps that connect you to kind of this way of living. Yeah. So here's a question. What would it mean for you to approach your next meal with intention? To see it as not just fuel, but as a reflection of your values and your connection to the world. Real deep thoughts right at the end of the episode. But
it means shaking off the chains of Babylon.
Would it mean not having what I've got planned to have for dinner tonight?
Why? What is it?
Just some bratwursts, a meat obelisk. a manufactured, pulped, squeezed meat death obelisk.
Shipped over from Germany just to rape the planet a little bit more.
So yeah, I just don't know if I can have that tonight.
Yeah. You will though.
I will though.
Joe, we can't have the bratwurst.
Yeah.
Oh, but this is it. This is the problem. It's like we know this is good. They've got it right. We know it for a fact. It's easy to see, but we're at this point where we are now, where it's getting there.
It's I would eat your bratwurst, suck on your bratwurst, your obelisks tonight. Don't worry about it. But
gobble them down.
Maybe then, maybe just start small. Like we said, maybe start growing some herbs. Maybe head to the farmer's market and buy some local brisket and get that on the fucking barbecue, mate.
That sounds good. Yeah. I think the problem, the way to solve any problem is just to smoke a brisket, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. One love, one heart, one meal at a time.
One brisket.
Oh, that's beautiful. R.I.P. Bob Marley.
Yeah, R.I.P. Bob Marley.
So I was checking the name of that ginger beer that you were asking about, Old Jamaica. Turns out, end of last year, they turned their website, oldjamaicagingerbeer.com, and it just says, farewell, Old Jamaica. And they're retiring it as a drink. It's gone. It's apparently a massive, big marketing thing that they're retiring the brand. So, yeah.
Like for real, it's going?
Yeah.
So it's not going to be a thing anymore?
No.
I love that stuff.
It's Old Jamaica, which is claimed to be UK's favourite ginger beer drink, is running a novel campaign to say goodbye following the decision by parent B Live Company to pull the plug on the brand. And yeah, it's a novel. Yeah, it's a novel way of doing it that they say is a multifaceted campaign that will run with many unpredictable twists and turns mapped out together, with an ability to flex to consumer reactions and world events. Apparently, shutting down in grand style, and I think it's over because it said that they're doing instead of a countdown, they're doing a can down where they're keeping count of how many cans there are left in the world. Yeah,
I mean, it does say at the bottom of the website, as farewell Jamaica as you know it, in brackets, something new, fresh and bold is coming soon.
Yeah, but then scroll further, mate, and then it says like Ozzy with his final tour in '92. It's the end of the road for us. The end of the road for us. Well, as you know us. So they're reinventing it, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, they have it.
New Jamaica. I don't know.
New Jamaica.
There we go. Bob Marley and the Ital Diet. I really wanted to get stuck into this episode because when you said we were going to do it and you were planning it, I knew straight away, I don't know anything about Rastafarianism, and it's, super interesting to kind of get into the nitty gritty of it.
Definitely. Yeah, I didn't know anything before I started researching it. So it was...
Yeah, I only knew the stereotypes. And now
this is it.
I'm a bit more enlightened. There's a bit more... Don't know.
Well, no, there was a name for another one. The other one that was...
Zion. Zion was a problem.
Zion.
Yeah, a bit more Zion. You've got that little bit closer to Zion and that little bit further away from Babylon.
Absolutely. Well, there you go. Thank you very much for sticking with us, guys, to the end of this episode. I hope you've enjoyed that as much as we did. Yeah, you can follow us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. We're posting clips on there of the show. You can email us at whatthefoodpodcast@gmail.com. You can suggest a dish if you want us to cover a dish, or you could just say hello. We reply to everything. So, that's cool. The best thing you can do if you do want to support the show is to tell someone about it, or, even share an episode. Word of mouth is still the best way for podcasts to grow. And if you like the show, why not, share it with someone that you care about? That would be hugely appreciated. In the meantime, stay safe. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you next time. Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.